Last time, in episode 2 of the Nintendo Spice-Ometer, an astronomical hot take about Mario Kart was the first to make it to the Grumble Volcano tier, the highest tier of the Spice-Ometer with a score of 94. We also had a very cold baseless take from the internet that went into the Potatoes tier, the second lowest tier, with a score of only 21. It was also my longest and best video yet, but this time, we have even more takes to dive into, and let me tell you, you guys have set the bar much higher this time. So, without further ado, welcome to episode 3 of the Nintendo Spice-Ometer. Now, before we get to your hot takes, let's recap how the Spice-Ometer actually works. First, I'll analyze your hot take and share my view on it. Then, I'll give your take a spice number from 1 to 100 depending on how spicy your take is. Your spice number determines your tier in the Spice-Ometer. If you get a low number, you're getting a low tier, which means your take wasn't too hot. But if you get a high number, you're getting a high tier, which means your take had spice to it. After I've discussed all of your takes, I'll find one from the internet and do the same thing for it as I did for yours. Finally, I'll give a hot take of my own, and I'll leave it to you guys to give it a spice number in the comments or on the server. I'll average those numbers out to get my spice number. Last time I didn't really have to average because only one person gave me a spice number, which was 84, which puts my episode 2 take in the habanero spice tier. Thanks to the new server now being another source of hot takes, we have much more of your hot takes to go through. So, without further ado, let's take a look at them. Our first hot takes both come from the commenter who was featured in both previous episodes of the Spice-Ometer. This person hasn't reached the top, but he sure knows how to give a hot take. This time, he submitted 2 of his brother's hot take, so let's look at them separately. The first one is, my brother firmly believes that Mario Kart 7 is the absolute best. And yes, this is a very spicy take. The thing is, I don't think many would disagree with you if 8 Deluxe didn't have as much variety as it does. Mario Kart 7 is by far the most consistent Mario Kart there is, with a great selection of nitros and retros, and probably a lower amount of boring tracks in its selection than any other game in the series. Also, gliding in 7 feels much nicer than it does in 8, but even with all that said, I still think 8 Deluxe just about gets the edge over 7. You can't argue with 96 tracks which are mostly fun to play on and a much better battle mode than 7's. I still think 7 is a criminally underrated game that deserves much more praise than it gets, but it's honestly difficult for any game to compete with 8 Deluxe at this point. They have their work cut out for them with Mario Kart 9. So how does this do as a Spice-Ometer hot take? It's actually very spicy because it does oppose the public narrative on Mario Kart 7 in 2025, so I'm giving it a spice number of 78, which puts your brother in the Sriracha hot sauce tier. But wait a second, you submitted another one of your brother's takes, and the level of spice has been cranked up to the max with this one. So here's the take. Every time we sit down to play any Mario Kart, he will pick every single Mario circuit before any other track. And no, he isn't a baby. He can beat most people he's played against. He just loves circuit tracks. Guys, I think we just downed the final boss of Mario Kart takes. You're telling me that your brother would pick Mario Circuit over Rainbow Road in Super Mario Kart, Mario Raceway over Yoshi Valley in 64, Luigi Circuit over Sky Garden in Super Circuit, Mario Circuit over DK Mountain in Double Dash, Figure 8 Circuit over Airship Fortress in DS, Luigi Circuit over Coconut Mall in Wii, and Toad Circuit over Rainbow Road in 7. Oh, and by the time you finish playing all the circuit tracks in 8 Deluxe, you'd have already gotten bored of Mario Kart. Are you sure your brother isn't trying to troll you? Because if he is, it's hilarious. Mario Kart has so many tracks, filled with creativity, cool gimmicks, and iconic themes that define the series. But this guy prefers figure 8s, flat tarmac roads, and themes based on just regular racetracks? You know what, I'd rather play all the desert tracks than all the circuit tracks, because at least the desert tracks have sand and theming, instead of, well, tarmac and really badly pixelated background crowds. Actually, I'd even choose to play all the tall cities than all the circuits, because at least there's actually buildings and like landmarks next to the tarmac. I guess 7's Mario Circuit is pretty decent, and that's his favourite game, according to the previous take, but other than that, this just completely crazy. I don't know. I don't know if your brother's trying to troll you, but if he isn't, damn. So the question is, how spicy is this as a take exactly? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have a new winner because, bro is trolling you? Surely he's trolling, right? Has he actually played any other Mario Kart track that isn't a circuit track? Because if he has and he's still saying this, I'm actually I'm baffled, okay? I'm stunned. Congratulations, your brother's take will get a spice number of 97. It's probably one of the craziest opinions I've ever seen in my life. Somehow even beating out last episode's Mario Kart ranking take. Honestly, if you guys keep coming up with even hotter takes episode after episode, I might have to come up with another tier. What do I call it? The Hall of Fame, the Spice-Ometer Hall of Fame. You see, you guys need to cool down a bit. You guys need to cool down, okay? Our next hot take states that Star Fox was never good. I honestly don't know much about Star Fox, and I don't particularly care. So I asked someone who's played Star Fox, and I think they've played a few games in the series, and they said they 100% agree with you. They said they've never played anything more bland, and that the best game featuring Star Fox isn't even a Star Fox game, it's Smash Bros. Ultimate. I find that kind of hilarious. So I then decided to take a look at the reviews of the Star Fox series to get a good look of my own, and it seems to actually be quite subjective, with half of the community giving it a 9 out of 10 or 5-star ratings, and the other half literally giving it like 2 and 3s out of 10 and 1 and 2-star ratings. So I had a difficult time deciding what spice number to give you because I don't really know much about Star Fox and I had to do a lot of research, but I finally concluded you'd still anger half the community with this take, so I'll give you a reasonably spicy score of 68, which puts you in the sweet chili tier. Not bad at all. It actually has a good kick to it. Okay, so this one is the last of our hot takes from YouTube's comments. It states that Kirby is better than Mario. Well, I have a similar view of Kirby when comparing him to Mario as I do of Sonic when comparing him to Mario. So I'm actually going to talk about Sonic as an example first before talking about Kirby. I think it will make my argument a bit clearer. So, as a character, I think Sonic is way cooler than Mario. Mario is just a plumber who can jump high but needs power-ups to use his abilities. The blue blur, on the other hand, isn't just a guy with a mustache. He's a blue hedgehog who has cool shoes and has a lot of abilities even without the power-ups. Sonic also has a much more dynamic personality than Mario. All we know about Mario, even with the movie included, is that he's an Italian New Yorker, has a brother called Luigi, and an obvious crush on Princess Peach, which is why he goes to save her all the time. Whereas with Sonic the Hedgehog, we truly know everything about his personality, even without the movie. His ego, his confidence, his rivalry with Knuckles, his best friend Tails, and we know all of this even without any of the TV shows, and as I said, the movie as well. Sonic is a more dynamic character than Mario in all aspects, but as a game series, Mario beats Sonic, and it's not even close. The Mario series has much more consistency with its games, while the Sonic lineup is half bangers and half flops. The Mario series also has that bigger appeal to casual audiences and families, while the Sonic series has like more of that focus just to its main fanbase, and that's just without mentioning all the Mario spin-offs. I have the exact same view of Kirby as I do of Sonic in this case. I think Kirby, as a character, is undoubtedly better than Mario. For Mario to even come close to doing anything anywhere near as cool as Kirby, he can only achieve that in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and he would need a Wonder Flower to do it. The whole gimmick of Kirby makes him 10 times cooler than Mario already. Oh, and of course, we can't forget Kirby's character arc in Super Smash Bros. And the fact that he's the absolute GOAT in Ultimate. But again, when it comes to the games, Mario just has tons more to offer. Kirby has a solid lineup of 2D platformers, and even a very well-loved 3D platformer on Switch, but Mario also happens to have a solid lineup of 2D platformers that's much bigger than Kirby's, 7 3D platformers, including 3D Land and 3D World, and Bowser's Fury, which are all very well loved as well. And then you have all the spin-off series, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario Sports, the Mario RPGs, which I don't like by the way. The Mario franchise can provide entertainment that matches the interests of most of Nintendo's audience, and Kirby simply can't provide that at this moment. So as a character, you're right, Kirby absolutely clears, but as a game franchise, I don't think so. To be honest, I have a pretty balanced opinion on this though, because I think most of the audience would be baffled that someone could even suggest that any other Nintendo character is objectively better than Mario. So I'm giving you a Spice number of 85. You're tied with Episode 1 Sega Take for 3rd place. Okay, so now it's time to take a look at the takes for this episode that came from the new Discord server, Nintendo Chat Room, the chat room. For these takes, it's going to work a little bit differently because I'm not going to leak your Discord usernames, so I'm just gonna put up your PFP and what you said. So let's take a look at the first one. The first person who submitted a take on the server said, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival is actually a pretty good game. It just came out at the wrong time when everyone wanted a mainline Animal Crossing on the Wii U. I actually see where you're coming from here. I think Amiibo Festival kind of fell into this same pitfall of being a Wii U game. Just take a look at 3D World. When it came out on Wii U, people were actually disappointed because they wanted a full mainline 3D Mario adventure after Galaxy's success, even though 3D World was such a fun platformer. Only 8 years later, when it got ported to the Switch with Bowser's Fury, did people give it the fan favourite treatment that it deserved from day one. The only difference between Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival's this situation and Super Mario 3D World situation is that Amiibo Festival was so disappointing to the public eye that it never got a chance for redemption like 3D World did, with Nintendo deciding to push the Switch title New Horizons instead. While I see where you're coming from, this still really contradicts the general consensus on Amiibo Festival, so I'm giving you a 75, which puts you up in the Sriracha hot sauce here. Good take, to be honest. Okay, so the person behind our second server hot take submission states that 720p on the Switch handheld is fine. There's no need for 1080p or higher on a screen like this, and for the Switch 2's larger screen, Nintendo should use 900p instead of 1080p. It will just look good while saving battery. I agree with the first part, but not the second. I think judging by the size of the Switch 2 screen, as well as the rumours of huge graphical improvement with the new system, I think the Switch 2's display has to be 1080p, otherwise they won't make the most out of their higher quality games in handheld mode. I don't think the first model will be OLED, but I think 1080p in handheld mode is almost guaranteed at this point. This one's all round the definition of a hot take. I think most people want 1080p on the Switch 2. I think that's one big talking point, or one big wish in a lot of people's videos. I think the general public wants the Switch 2 to be 1080p, so I'm giving this an 80, which just slides you into the habanero spice tier. Really, really nice take, to be honest. And now for the last of your hot takes for this episode. So this one says that the N64 controller was actually a good marketing move as it was easy to recognize. I don't know about that, bro. Because if I was around in 1996 and saw Nintendo reveal that ugly controller with a giant triangle sticking out the bottom, which makes it uncomfortable to hold, it might have convinced me not to buy an N64 rather than convince me to actually buy it. The SNES controller was way more iconic than the N64 controller anyway. I also think controllers were a big marketing tactic only from the GameCube onwards. We have the GameCube controller, then the Wiimote, then the Wii U gamepad, and now the Joy-Cons, which were the main selling points of all 4 of those respective consoles. I don't think that the controller was the main selling point of the N64. The controller was not a main selling point for the SNES. The controller wasn't a main selling point for the NES at all. So I think the controller the whole thing of controllers being used as marketing tactics, I think it started with the GameCube. I actually think a lot of people might agree with you though, because even though the fact that the N64 controller was awful, you can't deny that it did have an iconic shape, and people might think that that was a marketing move for Nintendo. So it's definitely a sweet chili tier worthy take though. It's got a kick to it, and I'll give it a spice number of 67. Okay, so now that I covered all your episode 3 hot takes, let's move on to the internet take. Last time, our internet take wasn't even a hot take, it was just a bad take, and it got potatoes tier. But this time, I've actually found a good one. So this is from a deleted account on a thread that was talking about Nintendo hot takes from 4 years ago. So it says that Ocarina of Time isn't the best Zelda game. It's not even the best 3D Zelda. It's a really spicy one. And guess what? I couldn't agree with you more. Actually, let me name all the Zelda games that I think are better than Ocarina. Wind Waker, A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Twilight Princess, Phantom Hourglass, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Echoes of Wisdom. Oh wait, I'm pretty sure I just named over half the Zelda franchise? That's right. You know how I said Mario Kart 7 is criminally underrated? Well, I think Ocarina of Time is the most criminally overrated game I've played. Yes, the story is iconic. And? Does the story being iconic change the fact that the gameplay sucks? Does it change the fact that the controls are awful, just like most N64 titles? Does it change the fact that NPC people's faces in that game look so weird and like geometrical? No, it doesn't. The game doesn't suck. It's just absolutely nothing special. Well anyway, regardless of my view, just because I share this person's opinion doesn't mean it isn't a very hot take. It absolutely is, as it really contradicts the general consensus. This take gets an 82, yet another entry in the habanero spice tier. So finally, it's time for my take. So, you know the N64, yeah, the console that started 3D games and marked the beginning of many great series like 3D Mario, Mario Party and Smash Bros. I don't like it. I think that it was a good introduction to 3D Nintendo games, and it's thanks to the N64 that most beloved Nintendo IPs even exist today. But in 2025, the entire N64 lineup kinda sucks. I actually can't name an N64 game I've had any fun playing. I mean, you already know that Mario Kart 64 is my least favorite Mario Kart. Yeah, I've already told you that Ocarina of Time I find Ocarina of Time an overrated Zelda game, and I think the same goes for Majora's Mask. Mario 64 was a good game, but I honestly can't play it right now. I honestly can't play it in 2025 because it hurts my head so much. I wish like they ported like the DS version to the Switch 2 instead, because at least that one kind of looks better. Like, even though it's more pixelated, it kind of does look better than the N64 one. I just think that the N64 it didn't age as well as the consoles that preceded it, and I'm not a fan of its games, so I have to say I don't like it. Harsh, but I genuinely don't understand why the N64 is still so overhyped. Let me know just how hot a take you think this is by giving it a spice number in the comments or on the server. You know, this time I want to average out the number, so if you guys could give me like, if like some of you can, like, when you comment down your hot takes, like comment down a number that you'd give my hot take as well, just so that I can do my averaging. So because I'm currently like making the ranking for the Spice-Ometer, so it would be really helpful. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, if you wanna feature in episode 4, episode 4 will probably be coming out. There'll be a bigger gap between episode 3 and 4, as there was a gap between episode 2 and 3, because it was literally a 2-day gap between 2 and 3. So episode 4 is coming out next week at some point. There's probably gonna be a few videos before that. Probably my first chat room reacts, which is overdue, and And if you want to feature in episode 4, comment a hot take down below in the comments, or submit it in the hot takes channel of the server. Speaking of the server, the link for the server is down below. It's called Nintendo Chat Room, the chat room, and it has like a huge variety of channels. There's like, it's like a lot of stuff where you can submit your hot takes, promote your own content. You can even vote, like put up like a Nintendo like votes thing. It's really cool. It's a really cool server, and we're just slowly getting more members. So the Nintendo chat room link will be down in the description. So anyway, other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.